to Music City Horror.
Welcome to episode 26 of Music City Horror. This is Kayla, Elena, Ela. That sounded weird, but I got them right. So all four of us are here, so that's good. We've had some
Yay!
had some episodes where we weren't all here, and we're finally through with the holidays, and I think everybody's in the right state of mind. I think we all made it in one piece.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty close to the right state of mind, so close enough.
Maybe some bruised egos, but I mean, we're doing all right.
Yeah. The bruised egos, more brewskis needed, and
Ooh, there you
then
go.
probably be in the right mindset.
Yes.
So this is going to be our, I think we're calling it like the best of 2018 or...
The definitive best of 2018.
Yeah, year in review.
We are the
whatever.
ones, yeah.
I think year in review is the standard
Yeah.
terminology these days.
Because I think we're gonna touch on movies, obviously, but there's a lot of TV shows. I think Kayla's gonna mention a book or two, and so it's not just the best movies of the year. It's just kind of a hodgepodge, as it were, of horror for 2018. For the for January, I don't know why I couldn't figure that word out. For January, the streaming stuff, we'll have that up on the website either December 31st or January 1st for all the stuff on Amazon and Hulu and stuff. I think we said the only big release for January is Escape Room. I think that's what we decided. I don't really think that's...
I feel like we also didn't go out of our way to look it up.
No. I think y'all trusted me on my Google search and didn't check it.
Yeah, we're sure that's about right.
I mean, I also feel like we don't. And there's not a lot coming up. When does Glass release? Do we consider that? I would consider it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
after Split definitely had some
Yeah,
horror
for sure.
elements. That might be January, actually. January 18th.
I'm trying.
Good call.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I tried to remember.
Yeah, I try to remember, too.
I'm
It
excited
just
about
doesn't
that.
happen.
I mean, we've got a big year coming up next year.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to talk a little bit about what we've got on the roster? Because I've got a list, and we can go ahead and open the conversation just really quick. Or are we going to save that for? Do we want to save that for a beginning of January episode? Because it's a heavy year.
It's going to be a good year. Maybe we could save it for January.
Yeah.
Kind of the start of the year. Yeah.
Intro to the year.
I didn't research.
Start fresh.
I didn't research any 2019 movies, so...
Okay, well, maybe it's better that we're going to hold off because the list is very long.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. I'd like to kind of parse through that a little bit and kind of see what's going on, because I know it's going to be another really good year. I'm just really
on the fly business decisions. So we do know in January that we have Escape Room, and what was the other one that I literally, and I'm the one that pointed it out. I forgot that quick.
And I know, like Escape Room's obviously not going to be like true horror, but it's definitely got horror elements, and same thing with the Glass. Like, it's more, I don't know. It's more like if there was real superheroes, it's more like a grounded, like a real kind of thing. So, but like I said, Split last or 2 years ago had horror elements across the board. It was awesome. So, I'm sure there'll be something in there. So. Yeah.
And
It could be fun. You never know.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that good things are coming out in January, or potential good things, because I feel like for a long time January and February were just kind of like hellholes of nothingness at the movies, and now it seems like there's actually some stuff to look forward to. So that's kind of nice too. I'm glad that they've put Glass out quickly.
Do we want to? Do we want to mention the Us trailer, or is that something we're going to wait till?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to dissect it because
There's so much.
I'm already stressed out.
Yeah.
I know. I watched so many YouTube theory things.
See, I
breaking it
haven't
down.
yet.
Oh my gosh, it blew my mind. All these things that people have seen in it. But it makes me more excited.
I do want to say one. This I saw this tweet, and the handle is I guess it's Al the Pal, so ALTHEPAL. His profile picture is Bart Simpson. So, anyways, but it said Jordan Peele really got all my fears, and then he's got little bullet points: small children, rabbits getting stabbed with scissors, Lapita not having rhythm, things trying to kill me in broad daylight, and white people saying I think it's vodka o'clock.
Oh my god!
And
That's
I
hysterical.
almost had tears. That was the funniest thing.
The
As soon as he
clock
says
part.
rabbits, it's
Oh my
like, yeah. It just gets better. It's amazing.
Well, we could hold that off for January as well. Maybe watch.
I
it
feel like I need to
times.
watch. I think she needs to link me to some of these theory videos
I
because
know.
maybe that'll help me wrap my brain around
Yes.
it and not just be, terrified for my entire life.
I would like to touch on a few things though from it, just to see y'all's thoughts.
You know what? Let's just have you lay out your favorite theory,
Yes.
Okay.
and then we can go from there.
Well, I want to throw out there first that the doppelgangers are called the tethered, which is Jordan Peele has already told us that. So
That's so
that's kind of interesting.
That's very, very. That's kind of Stranger Things to me, which is neat.
Yes. There was a quote from him. He said, "We're our own worst enemy, and that idea created this monster, the tethered. I wanted to forge this new mythology that explored our duality and the duality of the characters." So yeah, that's pretty freaky.
Yeah, that's such an odd concept, but something that I'm sure we've all had nightmares or thoughts about, just kind of passing through our days. So, that's really creepy.
Yeah, because one of the videos, I mean, it seemed a little bit of a stretch to me, but I could see it, was describing the family. Like, let's say the son in the beginning of the trailer is asking questions. So he's in that age where he is asking why this and etc. And then at one point in the trailer, you see his doppelganger take off his mask and his mouth is kind of burnt, almost like sewn shut. So it's like the opposite.
Oh.
Like their doppelgangers are kind of the opposite. And then the mom she had, a childhood thing happen to her, obviously, with doppelganger being a child when she was a child. But like her doppelganger is like laughing and giggling, but she's a little bit more, held back and almost sad to an extent. But some of the things that stood out to me from those videos that I watched, because I went down the rabbit hole, no pun intended. So the rabbits, there's a rabbit on the daughter's shirt in the beginning. It's either, the rabbits mean like magic, like pulling them out of a hat. But rabbits are also known to quickly reproduce. So maybe that has something to do with this. I don't know. Or let's see, the Rorschach test things that you see throughout the trailer. The only one that doesn't completely isn't symmetrical is the one with the title.
Oh.
So it's like, what does that mean?
That's interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna have to
I
break
don't know.
all this
My
stuff down.
mind's
That's so
just
cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just so excited about this one, you guys. And it comes out, I think, around my birthday. So that might be a trip for all of us to go see it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've only been able to watch the trailer once, and then I haven't been able to go back quite yet. So this has kind of pushed me back into not, wanting to understand it and not just being, wanting to cry.
Yeah. I got 5 on it in my head ever since it came out. So
Absolutely.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it looks amazing, and Jordan Peele's a genius. So I would, at this point, trust anything that he made is going to be perfect. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, pretty excited. That's a good little period to everyone's statements.
I know. Yeah, you have a lot to contribute in that one. Yep, it's exciting.
Coming in with the
We can tell that Eli is very, very excited about this movie.
So that segment's over. So yeah,
Moving on.
moving on. Okay, so okay, I just got something on my phone there. What are we? Where are we at? Oh, we're gonna go.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna go over to Lena's fun facts, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
yes.
So we're gonna.
Are you sure?
Yeah, positive.
Okay, as
That
long
is-
as you're sure.
That is where we're going. So I'm gonna pause this so I can put her new little stinger in, and then when she comes back, she's just gonna rock us with some facts. I think. All right, take it away, Lena.
Thank you, Eli. And hello, Music City Horror family. This week for my fun facts, I have the best and worst movies of the year, according to Rotten Tomatoes, because they just compiled a list of 60 horror movies by rating. So, y'all feel free to chime in if you'd like, if you have an opinion on any of these. But I'm going to start with the bottom 5 of the list of 60. So, coming in at number 56 is something we just mentioned earlier, the Cloverfield Paradox with 19%.
Oh, it could have been worse. I
agree.
mean, I thought it was kind of fun. I think our expectations are so high for Cloverfield movies.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But I thought it was kind of fun and stupid. If you don't think about it at all, it's kind of cool. Just leave your brain behind.
Yeah, exactly. That should be the tagline to that movie.
Leave your brain behind. Yeah. Just soak it in.
Let's see. Number 57, and I think only one of us saw this movie this year, and that is The Possession of Hannah Grace, 16% Rotten Tomatoes. Eli?
The one who saw it.
Yeah. Would you agree with that? Eli? Eli?
Is he?
Did we lose him?
I think so.
Did he fade into the universe?
He went into the
Sorry, I was
forward.
on mute. I was like, I'm talking. Cool.
You're hearing podcasting in real time, people. This is how this
Yeah.
works.
Okay.
This is the
I'm
business.
It's not.
definitely
Yeah,
not on-
it is not always edited and perfect.
Yeah.
I was like actually voicing the claps. Trying.
It's like one of us is like, it was great.
Yeah, it was really exciting.
Okay. So, anyways, what did you say? I was.
Possession of Hannah Grace. What did you think about that?
Oh yeah. I mean, it wasn't like terrible. It was like so. Okay, so first off, it's set in this hospital, right? And it's like it's actually the morgue. But this morgue looks like a freaking fortress. Like, I've never seen anything like this in a movie before. It's like ridiculous. But I mean, it's it's a good like studio movie. I mean, it's. Yeah. I would kind of put it in there with like, I don't know, The Conjuring or The Nun or something. Like it's just like a mainstream. It wasn't especially. It was more creepy than anything else, So, I mean, it was, I wasn't blown away, but it was okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that was 57, and coming in at 58 we don't have just one Pretty Little Liar. We've got two in the bottom 5, and that's Truth or Dare with Lucy
Oh my
Hale.
God.
15%. Yes.
Hey, you said that, and it really took me a second. I was like, I don't even know what she's talking about. Like, what Pretty Little Liar had a movie this year? That's how off the radar that movie was for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
No, it was rough.
Yeah. And then at 59, and I did not see this. I don't know if you guys did either, but it got such bad reviews I didn't even bother. Winchester with 14%.
No.
Yeah, I did not bother with that one.
Yeah.
Same. Which
Yeah.
is sad.
I think
because,
that
you
one
know,
just came. That one came out right. Didn't that one come out right after like a larger release? And I can't remember what it was. It came out wasn't it right after Hereditary?
I want to say it was like in February. It was kind of like a
I
weird...
think it was because Hereditary came out in January. I think it was right after Hereditary. So, I mean, one, how do you really follow that up?
Yeah.
Two, that movie looked like, I mean, the trailer was just very indicative of how the movie was going to turn out for me, I guess.
it was just like kind of
Because you really can you can call a movie based on a trailer these days. And,
Oh, yeah.
and that one, the trailer was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And it's a shame because the Winchester story is really interesting and had a lot of potential, and they just completely blew it. So I don't know. Maybe one day we'll get a good one, but it wasn't this one.
Yeah. Agreed. Sucks to suck. And that brings us to number 60 at the very bottom of the list. And I really had high hopes for this one, but I didn't watch it, I should say. Slender Man was 7%.
Yeah,
I didn't watch that one either.
I must
I didn't
admit
watch
I did miss that one, but that one, I don't know. It like, so I think the budget was like $10 million and it grossed like almost $60 million, and then like worldwide, like somebody's watching it.
Yeah.
Teenagers.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
it was like the Nickelback of horror movies. Like somebody's buying the tickets.
Yeah,
I mean they're
right.
not just popular
love
for
that.
no reason.
No one's admitting it, but
No one's
somebody's
admitting
purchasing
Exactly.
those. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was a lot of teenagers, and they need horror movies to watch, and it's just kind of a fun outing for them. So whatever. But yeah, I as an adult human, I'm not going to watch it. I have better
An
things
adult
to watch.
human.
I know. Like,
I love it when you call yourself
am-
that.
I
I'm
am
an
not-
adult human,
I am
just in case you didn't know.
There are not
Exactly.
3 cats
love it.
stacked up inside of my husband's robe right now. I'm not. I'm a human.
Right?
Totally not
Yeah.
3 cats stacked up. Promise.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised though.
if any of those stream, I'll watch. I'll give it a watch
Yeah, that's
For
kind of what
fun.
I'm thinking.
for
Yeah.
fun. All right. So that brings us to the top 5. So coming in at number 5 is Revenge with 92%.
I didn't see that one. I've been
Me
too
neither.
afraid to watch it.
Oof, it's
Okay,
good.
it's in one of the movies I'm going to talk about later. So
Yeah, because I am glad that you're going to talk about that because that's been my 2018. So I'll be excited to get to that.
okay,
Was Revenge on Shudder Street?
It is.
yes.
Oh, so I'll
It's
have
a
to check
Shudder
that out.
exclusive.
And well, that brings us to number 4, also streaming on Shudder. Mandy with a 92% as well.
KV was not a fan.
I started it. I haven't
hated
finished
this movie. I hated it so much. I'm gonna not go. I'm not gonna talk about it, but I have to just put my opinion out because I have a very strong opinion. I hated it.
Aaron and I haven't watched it yet because we haven't been in the. We're like, we are not in whatever space we need to be. We're not sure what that is,
Right.
but we're not
Same.
right there.
No space that I could have ever been in would have ever made me like that movie.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, we started
I enjoyed
and
it.
it's weird, man. But
I enjoyed
I
it.
kind of want to finish it.
I'm just weird though. Like like things that are kind of.
I'm weird
beaten.
though. Like we're all weird.
I mean,
we're all
that's-
weird. You're not weird for liking the movie because apparently everybody else did, but I just could not. I didn't get it.
Well, I just like that it was kind of off the beaten path, and it was,
I'm not gonna. There's so much that I want to say, and I think I've already done my soapbox about that movie. But it's just like I'm holding it in.
I mean, trust me, like how you're reacting right now is how I felt on Twitter when everyone is raving about Suspiria. So don't.
Okay, yeah.
Don't
I
feel
mean, I
bad.
still haven't. Yeah, I still haven't seen
I don't
that.
think we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
We might need to
No, we might not need.
later. Let's see. So coming in at number 3 is Cam with a 93%.
Still haven't
I
seen
loved
that.
Cam.
I know.
I have not
haven't
seen it.
It sounds good. I read about it, but I have not seen it.
Okay, I'll talk about it later because it's also
Okay.
on my list in case
Okay.
since no one else is going to mention it. It's a good place for me
Yes.
to so, cool.
Yay.
Yay.
And at number 2 is The Endless with a 95%.
I forgot about that movie. I didn't really feel like it was horror though.
I think
Yeah.
that was part of it, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of like my whole thing this year has been telling people like I think I watched a different movie because like I wasn't blown away with Upgrade, I wasn't blown away with The Endless, I wasn't blown away with Suspiria. Like all these movies are just getting raves, and I'm like, what fucking movie were y'all watching? Like I can like
Suspiria did get good reviews, right? Like overall, like. But I feel like I've also seen that they really did notice a divide in people that loved it and people that hated it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of those, like, I try to find the good first, and then it, and then if it just, floats away, there's nothing I can do about it. But
You're
like,
so optimistic.
yeah, like, All the Creatures Are Stirring, like, not the greatest thing in the world, but there's a couple segments that I enjoyed, and, I think for making it on the budget that they made it on, I thought it was fine. But like those movies I just said, Summer of '84 didn't blow me away. Everyone was just oohing and ahhing, and I'm kind of like, ugh, I don't know. I mean, I think if that had came out maybe either after Super 8 or before Super 8, and obviously way before Stranger Things, I think I would have like really liked it better. But
So that was the vibe of that movie, because I honestly don't even know what you're talking about. I've just seen the actual name of it.
it's on Shudder now too. But yeah, I mean it's
I
mean,
agree
if you-
with you on it. It didn't blow me away.
if you like Stranger Things minus the demons, then that's your perfect movie. Then you'll
I feel really bad for you guys because you've primarily watched all the movies where I haven't had time to or the energy to. Because I feel like I'm just like, I don't know what that is. So I'm
that's okay.
I'm right there with
guys
you,
being good researchers.
Well, when we get
I
done,
have not been great.
I'll send everyone this list too. That I
Yes. That would be awesome. It'd be nice to catch up a little bit. We'll have to post it on Instagram too.
Yeah. Does anyone want to guess what number 1 was?
Hereditary.
No.
What?
Wait,
Ooh.
what
It got
side did you get?
95%. Rotten
Quiet
Tomatoes.
Place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Quiet Place,
I keep
yep.
forgetting that came out this year because it seems so long ago.
I know.
Oof.
It really
Yeah.
wasn't number 1? That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember what number Hereditary was.
Wow.
But it was a good list, so if you're interested, go to RottenTomatoes.com and check it out because there's some good stuff on there. But I would like to give a shout out to our friend David Howard Thornton because Terrifier was number 28 on the
Oh, nice.
list,
That's
which is
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's so
well
great.
deserved. Well deserved.
Absolutely, yes.
He deserves that.
And frankly, it's probably mostly for his performance, for real.
Yeah,
Why it got
so-
such
so
high
wonderful.
reviews. Yeah, he's awesome.
So good. Let's see. I've also made a little list of just the highest grossing movies of 2018. Number 1, obviously, A Quiet Place made the most.
Yeah.
Number 2, Halloween. Yep.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yes.
I would think that would have made more than A Quiet Place, but
That's what I thought too.
interesting.
But go figure. The next one, The Nun.
Blech.
Yeah, I know. Like, I want to see it, but Stream it, please. Someone.
Yeah.
It was
And then I'll watch it.
it was like it reminded me of like it reminded me of like a 90s movie. Like I didn't hate it. It was just like unnecessary. Like I didn't like get, like I didn't see the point of it. Like
Yeah,
it's
it was
kind of
boring.
like I've mentioned this 100 times. I think out of like the 26 episodes, I've mentioned it like 20 episodes, but like it follows. Like I love that setup, and I love that it's just like, hey, we fucked. There's a demon following you. Good luck, and that's it. There's no backstory. There's no like figuring it out. It's just like, this is it. Good luck. And I kind of like, so when they're like, oh, well, we're gonna do this nun prequel and like, I don't care. Like I don't want to know all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I don't care about the nun's history.
No.
Just let it be like a creepy part of this one movie and let it be. Anyway, I thought it was super boring, and it could have. I mean, honestly, they could have done a lot more with it, and then they just didn't.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's
that's on
some
them.
interesting visuals and stuff, and but yeah, it was.
Yeah, you can't just write on that.
It just
though.
reminds me of like going back and watching a movie from the 90s or the 80s. Like it just doesn't have like that same. They're not scary. So that's kind of how I position it. It's kind of it has the I don't know the draw or the appeal of like a 90s movie. So anyways,
Agreed.
It still made $1 trillion, so who cares?
Yeah, they don't care.
The next highest grossing movie was The First Purge.
Oh, okay.
I watched that once. I wasn't a huge fan. I don't know about
I saw
you
it in the
guys.
theater. It was
What do you think?
it was good for what it was. Like it was exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah,
It wasn't
it's-
anything more or anything less. It was exactly what I expected.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I need
and
to give it
it's-
another try.
And it's like what I want from a Purge movie too. I thought it was fun. I liked seeing it in the theater. These movies are good social commentaries. And then you watch it and it's well made. So they have a lot of good budget for those kind of movies. So whatever. But I liked it all right.
And then number 5, which I have not seen, so I don't know if it would be considered horror, but I know we've talked about it on the podcast, is The House with the Clock in Its Walls, which I heard is very good.
Yeah, it's
I want to
sweet.
watch
Yeah.
it because I really, really love everything that Jack Black does.
Me too.
And I really need to
perfect,
watch
yeah.
it. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Definitely worth a watch. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, that's everything I have for fun facts.
Also,
This is a good air horn time.
I know. Insert air
man,
horn
I really
here.
wish I had that queued up right now. That would have been perfect.
That's okay. We can't always be like on our stuff right away. So.
I think that just needs to be part of the process from now on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you had that.
can't see me.
queued up.
I like
They really can't see us, so it's still appropriate.
That's right.
It's very relevant because they cannot see us.
Yeah.
No.
Man, somebody told a John Cena joke the other day. God, it was so good, and I can't remember what it is. I was like, I'm so pissed at myself for not remembering what it is.
I'm sure you'll get it back. You'll get it back.
What if
It's
I don't
okay.
get it
I
back?
believe in
though?
you.
KB, what if
I
it doesn't
believe in
come
you
back?
though.
I should have taken a picture of all the wrestling shirts that were given at Christmas at my house this year.
Oh my god.
My mom, Lisa, and Robert, and Chris might have gotten one too. It was a lot of Matt Hardy shirts. Delete.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I took advantage of the. I don't know what it was actually, but they had like $6 shirts, so I'm actually wearing my Macho Man versus Steamboat from WrestleMania 3 shirt, and I also got a Ric Flair versus Macho Man shirt, and then I also got a Bret Hart shirt. So, so those are
You'll
my.
be
brother-
very surprised to find out that I got no wrestling merch for Christmas.
I'm very surprised.
Wow. My one of my brothers was Ric Flair for Halloween a few years ago, and it was epic. ridiculous.
Want to be the man? Gotta beat the man.
Yeah, he was just going woo a
Man,
lot.
gotta beat the
Amusing.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that was kind of our mention of wrestling a little bit. So,
Gotta have one.
Always. Always.
KB, you're going to the Royal Rumble, correct?
I certainly am. Woo! I'm very excited.
Alex, Queen of the Ring, basically like any big thing, she's like, you need to go. I'm like, bro, I can't go to like every freaking, so.
Yeah.
I didn't get asked about the Royal Rumble, but she wanted me to go to the Ring of Honor one. I was like, man, I just can't freaking swing.
She was the last one of our pack to jump on the ship. They convinced us last minute, and we just decided to pick up and go.
I mean, I think it's a good thing to do the big ones at least once, So I've only done one big one, but I think at some point I want to do the Royal Rumble and all the other ones. So
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
My little break to sanity for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that'll be. I mean, you can report back to us even though it's not horror related. So.
Yeah, I'll tell everyone how amazing Phoenix was.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be excited to hear everything. Quick shout out though, because I will be doing a Royal Rumble predictions episode with Fight Talk.
Oh, nice.
They're a podcast, so we're going to try and record that pretty soon before I head out to Phoenix. So if anybody does actually like wrestling that listens to this, check out Fight Talk, and I'll be doing an episode with them soon.
That's awesome.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, cool.
Yes.
Well, when we come back, we will dive into our favorites, our picks, whatever for 2018. So this is the final episode of 2018, and I don't know if we planned this or it's default. I don't know, but we're just going to talk about our favorite stuff from 2018. And
what a year it's been.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's already over.
Mm-hmm.
You've just gotten all the obligatory things we have to say.
Yeah, right.
Amen.
I figured I'd do it for everybody, so nobody else has to say it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I think, how do we want to start this? Do we want to everybody do like 2 or 3 of their favorites and?
Well, and
I
we
feel
can
like we're going to share a lot of favorites, so let's just. I mean, we can just. I don't know. Shoot the shit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't have like a top list. Or
I didn't
big
make a list.
Yeah,
I
I've got
have like a little list. I have some stuff that we probably all like agree on if we've seen it.
Well, I mean, let's just go ahead. Let's just go ahead and start, since it came out in January. Let's just go ahead and get Hereditary out of the way, because that's going to take up the majority of our time.
Yes.
That way we can give people
Yes.
a place that they know that they're going to be here for a few minutes, and if they don't give a shit about Hereditary, they can fast forward.
That's right.
Yeah. I had someone ask if we were going to talk about it because they were really wanting to hear thoughts about the movie because it blew their mind so much. So
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like we were saying earlier, I decided today before we recorded that I was going to start rewatching it, and it wasn't as hard. And that's the thing that about Hereditary, it was hard to watch.
Yes.
Oh, it's so
Absolutely.
uncomfortable.
As I choke on my granola.
And I feel
I've been
like
really into this granola, and now it's going to be why I got on here. So, I mean, that's really what it was. It was a shocking movie, but it wasn't one of those that was shocking just to be so. It was, I don't know. I felt like it was tastefully done. It wasn't gratuitous, even though it was at the same time.
And even, it wasn't even particularly shocking. I mean, there were some shocking scenes. Like, I think it honestly has some of the most terrifying scenes, like, in film. Like the scene where the son is waking up and the mom is in the corner of the ceiling. Like, that's one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was so terrifying. And there's even parts where she's just talking to the son, and when she's having the dream, and she says like, I didn't want to have you, or I tried to end like my pregnancy, and everyone in the theater is just like, oh, it's just shocking, and it's hard to watch something like that.
Let's do a quick fire of what scene shocked you the most in Hereditary. What really just good and fucked you up? Kayla, you go first.
Oh my gosh. I think it was the scene where they get up into the treehouse at the very end of the movie and everything comes together, and you see the mom and the grandma headless on the floor, bowing down in front of the weird Charlie head statue. Oh my God. Like, it's...
And that music that was playing, it was almost like, like kind of uplifting music,
Yeah,
like for royalty, but you were just like, what the hell?
Yeah, I thought that was extremely scary. And I think it's because it all comes together at the end and you finally see like what's been happening the whole time. Because whatever's in there, it's not going to be good, but I didn't exactly know what to expect.
That's right.
And I thought that was horrifying. Ooh, yeah. I get like chills thinking about this.
Yeah, the part for me, there's a few things that just stick in my brain, but I'm going to have to go with number one is the mother, Toni Collette's character, sawing her head off with the piano wire, I guess it was. Oh my God.
That shortens this part of the conversation because mine was the same. It is something that I will never, ever, not even once, will I ever forget that scene.
Yeah, the sounds were terrifying.
And how it gets faster as it goes along.
Yeah. Just everything about I thought the movie was so deeply scary in so many different ways. Because even the scene where, the family's like having the conversation at the dinner table, and the mom's angry at the son after Charlie dies. That's just, to me...
When she's telling him he needs to take responsibility.
Yeah, I thought that was horrible.
Get you some water.
All right, no, right?
Put your
I'm
arms
going
over
too
your head.
hard in the granola.
Deep breaths.
I will say, speaking of Charlie, like when her head gets knocked off, that was the first part that I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was not as bad the second go around for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm still scratchy, but I'm good.
I think some of like a scene like that was so shocking. Like some of the people in the theater laughed because it's so uncomfortable and shocking that I think your body just responds in very odd ways. And it was, people either gasped or like kind of giggled, like, now what? What do we do? The character who in the trailer you kind of assume this is the main character, maybe the main antagonist, just get their head knocked off.
Yeah. I think that was kind of the what they did with Drew Barrymore in Scream, kind of.
Yeah.
When that happened, when I was watching it, I mean, it was like very audible gasp, and like for a couple minutes, people were like it was shocking. Like, I don't think anyone saw that coming. Mine was also the Toni Collette sawing her head off, but also right before the head scene. That sounded weird. Right before Charlie died, I had to I didn't get this until after I had to go back and research everything, but the symbols on the pole.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of all it was inevitable that that's what was going to happen. And there's signs I think when the when the one that basically does the seance or whatever, there's those signs in her house if you're looking in the right place and stuff, and it's just all connected and crap. And it's just I know people get kind of...
Well, that was really smart of them to do, because that merits you going back and rewatching it a second time to look for that stuff.
and you start putting everything together, because, obviously you get to the point where, the grandmother's involved with this weird thing. You realize that it's a cult for this demon. But then when you start going back and putting the pieces together, it falls in so well to being about, not just that creepy cult, but also like the family. They've been trying to set the grandmother's been trying to set this up for so long. And she writes in that book that Annie finds at the beginning. She has that note in there to her daughter, and it says like, "Our sacrifice will pale next to the rewards." And like even that in the very beginning, maybe like 10 minutes in, kind of gives you a weird feeling. Like none of this is going to be good again, but you start putting it together at the very end, and I just think the whole storytelling process is brilliant. How everything fits together.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were not happy with the ending, and I think it was just, I don't know, like, I think a lot of people nowadays, like, they just want to, I don't know, like, be the smartest person in the room, and, like, they want to, like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. Like, you didn't know this was going to happen. You had no idea.
Yeah.
And I think it was, like, the fact that Charlie's gone 10 minutes in, and then it turns into this, it's just about a demon or a cult or whatever, and it didn't really go the way that they wanted it to go. A lot of people kind of bitched about it, but I mean, I think the ending is just like the exclamation point. You know what I mean? Like the ending.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the ending could have just been whatever. I mean, it didn't. I don't care. I mean, the everything up into that that's the meat of it. Just how everything fell into place and. Yeah, so, and again, I think we mentioned it when it first came out, and I think we talked about it, but this was the director's first movie, which is also just mind-blowing. And,
It's completely mind-blowing.
So.
And I think the ideas of the family and gender are really interesting. Like all of the women are very secretive. And there's so many strange secrets, and the men are kind of plagued with this, what in the beginning they kind of say is mental illness. Like the son starves himself and all of that. But then it circles back to like the women are kind of enforcing this demon on the men in the family, and it's slowly driving them crazy. Yeah. I just think it's such an amazing perspective. I think that's really cool. It's very disturbing.
Right. I did like the dollhouse or the little figurines, like they would zoom in and then it would like the movie would start, like a scene.
Yeah.
That was super cool.
It was really cool. Yeah, the way they used art, even like Charlie's art, that her weird bird head dolls and things, like the way that they express themselves and kind of deal with their weird their pain or their very strange demon mindset, I guess, in Charlie's case. I thought that was fascinating to use art to kind of express that, and even just in a subtle way.
Yeah. So, I've only watched the whole movie once, and just now watched the last 20 minutes on YouTube. Well, not just now, but the other day. Freaked me out. Anyways, you guys think that Charlie was already possessed with the demon maybe in the beginning? What do you guys think?
I know that's a theory. I didn't think about it that way, but I only saw it once. I've only seen it in the theaters, so I'll probably need to rewatch it just to kind of see. I mean, it makes sense because she was a weird kid, but
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it messed me up that much. That's why I haven't watched it again.
I think that she was. I think the idea of the mother talking about how she kept Peter, the son, away from the grandmother, kind of imply, and how she basically says that she gave Charlie to the grandmother to raise, and even the grandmother's like breastfeeds Charlie.
Yeah.
I think that kind of implies that she is either possessed from the beginning or like raised to be possessed.
Yeah, that alone is too much for me.
Oh yeah, that freaky dollhouse scene, I was like, I can't. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
But I think that Charlie is possessed from probably the very beginning of her life, probably. And you know, she is a weird kid, and you know, in pretty much any way, any take on it. You know, maybe she is possessed by Damon, or maybe she's just weird. And if you like, I've read way too much into like the demon Payman that she's possessed by or represents, and how some things that Charlie does are supposed to be reflective of that demon. So, you know, I think that she is. I think that's pretty likely.
Yeah.
And Charlie even says like she wanted me to be a boy. It's like, yeah, she did. But you're just gonna have to deal. Yeah, just gonna have to be good enough.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that you don't really, you know, I'm not going to say spoiler alert, because obviously we've gotten to a lot so far, but that's one of the things that you don't really understand until towards the end of the movie. Like, why did they want him, you know, want her to be a boy? And then it's just, it's such a crazy, I like when they take things from mythology, because it does kind of like root it in, I'm not going to say fact, obviously, but it roots it in stuff that people have put in books for centuries, and they're pulling like these actual like demons, and I use air quotes around that because, you know, I don't, you know, who knows, but grounding that in stuff that's not just pulled from the air and it's a new universe really, really freaks you out, because you're able to go in and you're able to type in, you know, the name of the demon, you're able to look up the stuff, and it lines up with the movie. So for them to pull from that and make it like, you know, historically accurate, I guess you could say, was almost a little bit more freaky when it takes that sharp turn, because it looks like, you know, a depressing family drama, and then all of a sudden it's Satan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It is crazy. And I mean, the movie is so well done, and I think the director says something about this too, that you could take out all the horror parts and it would still be like a really devastating, dark family drama. And it's like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Like, absolutely.
100%.
I think that mindset works really well for horror in general. I think more directors could deal with having that mindset of when they go in to make a movie. Like, let's make this good in two different ways. Like, let's make this good from all angles. Let's make the story strong enough to stand on many different legs.
Yep.
Eli in with it. Yep, let's go. But yeah, there's so much to unpack in Hereditary. You know, we could do a month-long series.
But apparently we're getting the cue music to move on from Hereditary. Yep. So
I'll throw out one. I'm not sure if we've all seen it or not yet, but another one that I think is a favorite, The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, was probably my most favorite thing of the whole year. Probably my favorite show, up next to Hereditary, is the favorite movie. I just think everything about it was almost perfect, really. This is again another thing that works with, like, the family drama also works on its own without the horror, but it significantly boosts it. And I just think it's such a beautiful story, and it's very redemptive, which I think I appreciate more as maybe the world gets a little bit harder, and hope feels sometimes a little bit more difficult to grasp onto. I think that having this kind of redemptive arc in a horror story is very welcome to me right now. So I know a lot of people didn't like the last episode, but I really enjoyed it for what it was and kind of what it said about family relationships. I just think that the story arcs of the characters are absolutely beautiful. And of course, it's really scary. A lot of, the bent neck lady is terrifying, and I'll never get that out of my head. And the concept is deeply disturbing and sad. I just think it's a beautiful piece storytelling, really.
Yeah, I agree.
I saw a theory posted where the kids were all the different stages of grief.
Yeah, and I mean, I totally think that theory works out pretty well.
So, yeah, it's kind of a somebody. I don't know if it's Dread Central or Bloody Disgusting. I don't know. One of those guys. I mean, Netflix killed it this year with horror stuff. I mean, they had a lot of.
Really did.
We were just talking about the Cloverfield Paradox that dropped. They announced it during the Super Bowl, and then it dropped right after the Super Bowl. And then, did we talk about the Black Mirror movie, or did we skip that?
I think we skipped it. Okay. maybe we'll review it in January.
Cool. So that's another thing they did. But, so it's just wild that, I don't know. I mean, I think that was stunning in a different way, I don't think people were expecting not only the quality, but also, it was just the classic example of they were using horror to tell a different story, and I think, so that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I loved the family. I really felt like I knew each one of them, especially Nell,
Oh, yeah.
And you mentioned the bent neck lady, that episode where you figure out the origin of that. I can see that in my head right now. It just sticks with me when she's dropping through each layer, when she's seen it in her past, oh my gosh, tears came to my eyes.
Oh, yeah. It's scary because the image is terrifying, but it's just your heart just shatters.
Yes.
I just cried and cried, and
yes,
such a sad movie.
I know, and
or sad show. Yeah.
And the final episode, of course, I'm just crying my eyes out. I mean, every character is just wonderful. Yeah. Wonderfully portrayed, and I mean, there's just so many things to that show, so many layers.
Yeah, it's really
stuff that we don't even know quite yet.
Yeah,
because it's not over.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I hope it just gets I just wish it got left alone. I don't know. As I get older, I'm less willing to put up with let's do
multiple seasons of shows. I like a one good season. Yeah. But some shows don't start off that way. Sometimes some shows are slow to start, and then they pick up in later seasons, like The Office. So you can't say that The Office should have ended after the first season, because what kind of world would we live in?
Oh, a terrible one.
So I mean, I am excited. I am excited to see where this series goes. And if it's bad, it's bad. But at least they gave it a shot. It'll give us something to watch and something to talk about.
A better example of that would be Parks and Rec.
That's exactly. Well,
once they get rid of Mark, it gets so much better.
I just started that series for the first time. So
what?
That was part of my analogy, but I veered towards The Office because I'm a little bit more familiar with it. So.
I have the hot take. I think Parks and Rec is better.
I think I've heard you say this before.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna acknowledge that hot take.
Just holler back at me when you're like the last 2 seasons of Parks and Rec and compare it to the last 2 seasons of The Office, and it's just
No, that's not a fair. That you can't compare it that way. That's,
can, though.
I'm not gonna get in this argument with you.
I just put it in a sentence. And you can.
Now he's really talking.
Yeah, when we were talking about how beautiful Hereditary is, he's like, "Yep."
Now he wants to talk.
Yeah.
Now he wants to talk. I see.
We tease. But yeah, Haunting.
I'm
of
not
Hill
kidding
House.
though about Parks and Rec. I'm serious. Okay.
I believe your
God,
opinion.
it's not a joke, guys. Come on. Okay. Cool. So where are we at now?
Somebody thrown another one that they loved this year.
I mean, do you guys want to talk about Halloween?
Yeah,
That's what I was
man.
gonna say.
That was a good one.
I didn't
So
see it, but I know that you
good.
guys did. So
Yes. I loved it. What, Eli, what'd you think? You're my date.
Yeah, we I saw it twice, and the second time, obviously, you're starting to see some holes in the, holes in the script and holes in the, just the story.
Like podcasting and how they don't understand how podcasting works.
Yeah. So I think, and I think I might have just talked to Lena about it. I don't remember, but I think that was probably the best story they could do to get it to where it needed to be, like get a modern take on it. It was kind of strange that the whole controversy about it is they ignored everything past part 1, which was strange because part 1 ends with him falling off the house and then he's not there when they look, and it's like, why would you automatically assume he was captured and institutionalized like that? I don't know. That was a weird one. But then they also, he's not related to Lori anymore. So it was strange that they decided to do that, but then it still seems like he was targeting her for some reason. You know what I mean? Like it was still like, I don't know. So some of that stuff was just kind of a head scratcher, like what they did with the timeline and the mythology and stuff like that. But yeah, he was violent and yeah, so I enjoyed it.
I loved it.
Were we the only
And
two
the
that watched it? Kayla, did you?
yeah,
see
I
it?
didn't see it.
No, yeah, I didn't see it either. I listened to a few podcasts about it, kind of reviewing or read reviews about it, and I'll probably see it at some point. But I think there are so many brand new ideas happening in horror, I think, that I get kind of burnout on remakes or reboots or sequels, and I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'll see it eventually, and I'll probably enjoy it when I actually see it. But it's one of those things where it's like, well, if Netflix is killing it on something else, like I'm gonna stay home and watch Netflix. I don't know. I tend to be a little picky about what I go see in the theater. But it's one of those things I probably should have seen it, but it came out at a time when I was really busy, so didn't really make it a priority. But I think I'll watch it eventually, and it'll probably be really fun.
I think one that we're forgetting to mention is A Quiet Place. Actually, came out this year, and that was. I don't know if I'd call it one of my favorite movies of 2018, but it was definitely close. I really enjoyed it.
I agree. It didn't it was great. I loved it. I enjoyed it. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I did see it in the theaters and toward the end of its run. So it was just like me and 2 other people in the theaters. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, great story.
I thought they did a good job at blending kind of a more classic setup where it's like these monsters are trying to get you, or it's the end of the world, those sort of things, with a newer concept of having to be silent. And I also think it works really well, especially in a theater where people are hopefully being quiet. And I think it makes probably one of the best theater experiences I've ever had. Because my theater people were luckily well behaved, and it was very effective watching it in the theater, and everybody was quiet and the movie was silent, and I found it really, really effective. And I thought that was a really good idea and something interesting that I'm happy that Krasinski brought to the table that we hadn't really seen before. I thought that was really fun.
I agree with that because I did buy popcorn for that movie, and when it started, I was trying to eat so quietly. I was like quietly crunching, you know.
Sorry.
You know, other than the theater was very bare, there was no one in there, but I didn't want to, you know, interrupt the people behind me.
You feel like you kind of have
totally
to tread
agree.
lightly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. And there were a lot of really good family emotional moments, particularly with the little son with the toy, and it's just it gets really sad, and you can tell these people have been through a lot of struggle, and I thought it was well acted.
Yeah. That could also tie into Bird Box if anybody's seen it yet.
Ooh, I have seen it. I really liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot too.
No, I have not seen it quite yet. I do plan on trying to watch it, but I have not. I have not gotten around to it yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just came out like 4 days ago or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's been pretty. But it's beautifully shot. Wow. It's just. I was like, where is this place? I need to go to this place. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really fun. A good one. And speaking of Netflix too, I'd like to touch on Cam really quick. I don't know if am I the only one who saw Cam?
Yeah.
So.
I thought it was really awesome. There are some parts, if you don't know the setup, it's about a cam girl who she is naked on the internet.
Naked on the internet.
And naked on the internet, the classic. And I'm always a little skeptical of movies that kind of take place partially online, because I just feel like they end up being kind of kiddish, like teenagers, and as teenagers being teenagers. But this one, she's a grown adult woman, and she has her channel, and she's trying really hard to get to like the top 10 of the cam girls, and she's doing all of this different stuff to be interesting. And one day I think she comes home or something, and there is her double, an exact double of her, is doing a show on her channel, and she can no longer access the channel. She can't post any videos. She can't really comment on the videos. And it's like this really creepy, uncanny thing where she's watching herself do these things, and she knows that it's not her, and people don't believe her. And it's very scary. But it's a very scary concept. It may not exactly work out to be truly terrifying when you're actually watching it. But I thought it was a really feminist, sex positive movie that I think was about, it's about your own body and having control over your own body, and probably how weird that feels to not have control over it and to see yourself in this different way. And I thought it was really good, particularly for being a movie on Netflix. And it had a lot of really good scenes that weren't just about being terrified either. Like her family, she's trying to hide her job from her family, even while she's buying like expensive new couches and things. It was really good. I actually recommend people check it out. It was really interesting, and I think gives a good window to seeing what movies about the internet and about this time period that we're in right now could be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of just like dumb teen chatting movies, it can actually be something serious and interesting.
So that's on Netflix now.
Yes, yeah, it came out a couple weeks ago.
Cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Awesome.
Now the
I'll
big
check
question
that out.
is her name also Cam? Is her name also
Oh,
Cam?
it's Cam, just meaning like Cam girl, because her name is Lola, of course. Because I mean, I guess probably half of Cam girls in the world are probably called Lola. But yeah, her performance name is Lola.
I mean, they could have just tied it all together and just named her Cam. you know?
I hadn't thought about that,
true.
but that would have been really easy.
But of course, she's getting naked on the internet, so.
Naked on the internet.
So, I mean, my list, I don't know if officially this is what but I had Hereditary, A Quiet Place, and Halloween as my top three. I think those are just the three I enjoyed the most. I did see them all at the theater, so. And then I just had some other ones I jotted down, so they're kind of more like honorable mentions, I guess, like because there's just a lot of stuff that came out this year.
Oh yeah.
We of course have to mention Joe Bob and The Last Drive-In, and
I'm gonna call this
Joe
the year of. This is the year of Joe Bob.
Yes,
I'm
I
calling
agree.
it. Year of Joe Bob.
Absolutely.
I think we
So
have to
good.
thank for that too. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
so, but yeah, he just did last week the Phantasm marathon, which I only got like a movie and a half into it. I couldn't stay up to do the whole thing. So,
Yeah, I watched the first one. Love you, Joe Bob.
so it's fun. And Diana, she's
Oh no, she's so cool.
He's so great.
But The Predator came out this year. A lot of people hated it. I enjoyed it. Hellfest came out around Halloween. I thought it was an awesome, perfect Halloween movie. Mayhem came out earlier this year.
Ooh, I forgot about that. That was
Yep.
a good one.
That was a good one. We talked about Revenge. Downrange was earlier this year. I also thought was really good. That's the one the car breaks down and a sniper starts taking them out.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but whatever. Everyone else liked it but me, I think.
That's how I felt about Mandy. Everybody else liked it but me.
Yep.
The Ranger was pretty good. It was an indie one. I don't know how long it's been out. It came out in 2018. We talked about Haunting of Hill House. Bird Box. The Ritual came out earlier this year. That was
Oh my god.
That was a
I
good
like
one.
that.
Yeah.
That was
awesome.
a good one.
Terrifier. Did y'all see Cargo on Netflix?
No.
That was Martin Freeman, the zombie movie.
Ooh, I love Martin Freeman.
Yeah. Apostle. We mentioned that before.
Yeah. Oh, Dan Stevens is so.
I've been wanting to watch that, and I keep forgetting, but that's been on my list to watch, and I've just never gotten around to it. I've actually really actively wanted to watch it, but for some
good.
reason I
Good
just
one. That's another Netflix exclusive, and could have very easily been an indie, released in the movies.
Absolutely. Yeah. Could have done.
The Night Comes for Us. I did not see that one yet, but it's on. Actually, I think that's Netflix as well. Creeped Out, which I saw a few of those episodes. That was pretty good.
I love
Yeah.
that show. It's so fun.
And I know we've talked about it before, but I don't think we've mentioned it on this episode. But Sabrina.
I was about to ask when someone was going to bring up Sabrina
I
so we could talk
know.
about it.
Love it.
I think we needed something it was just fun and like outrageous. There's so many demons and the aunt saying like praise Satan all the time. I just
know.
thought it was hilarious. Like it's
Me
just so
too.
fun. Yeah. I think we needed something that
So
was just
cute.
fun and not super serious. It was great.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, they've renewed it for, I think, like 3 or 4 more seasons. So
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
Let's see. We mentioned Cam. There's one called "May the Devil Take You," and I want to say that's Shudder. Let's see. We said Cam. Insidious came out this year. The Last Key.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was.
I can't remember it.
It was okay.
I think I
It
saw
was,
it. I don't remember.
Lynn Shay was in it, and she's.
Ooh.
I just know her. She was in like the Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Yeah. All the other Insidiouses,
Yeah.
most of them, I think. I will throw out really quick Revenge, which is on Shudder. I don't know if we've talked about that one yet, where it's I hate to call it like a rape revenge movie because those are they were popular a while back, I guess, and tend to be like frowned upon now because they use like rape scene as like almost a little bit too titillating and disturbing and very male focused. And this one though is directed and written by a woman, and there's this girl goes through a rape. It's not filmed in a very gross way that made me uncomfortable or anything, and then she just like is covered in blood and just like kills everyone. And I think in 2018 I needed to see like this woman just kill a bunch of rapists. I was like, this is fine.
Yes.
I think it was like right around like the Kavanaugh hearings and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this right now and be thrilled with it. It was good. It was very stylish too. So it's one of those things where it's hard to recommend to people because if you have triggers with something like that, it's not something I might recommend. But if you're looking for something like a little bit different, or you're looking for a very like powerful feminist film, give it a shot. It's well worth a watch. And for somebody who I think the director / writer is really talented, so that's awesome too.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
It's a good one.
On Shudder today, I actually started. I haven't finished. You Might Be the Killer. Has anyone watched that yet?
Ooh, I'm intrigued by the title.
It's got Allison Hannigan in it, and then the guy from Cabin in the Woods that played the stoner in it.
Oh, I love
that guy.
Yes, I know. So that's on Shudder right now. So I'm gonna finish that soon. But it's gotten good reviews, so that's one of my latest
Yeah, I'll have to check that out too.
finds. What else, guys?
Let's see. So we said where are we at? Cam. Okay, so Annihilation. Did y'all see that? Natalie?
I love that movie so much.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the ones that I mentioned in my top ones that I was excited about for this year. And I thought it was really good, actually. I was already excited about it, but I was pretty blown away.
Yeah, who's the star in that?
Natalie Portman.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, I need to
so
see
trippy and awesome. I really liked it. I know a lot of people were disappointed or thought it was too weird, but that's kind of my jam. So I enjoyed that movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there was some controversy because it did go to theaters for like 2 weeks and then it went to Netflix. So obviously the majority of people are like, screw it, I'll just wait till it comes out on Netflix. And
Yeah, that was kind of hard because I think if they hadn't have, it almost kind of shows that they didn't have a lot of faith in it. But I think it could have done well with a good marketing campaign. And I don't know, it was kind of sad that there were a lot of people in the theater, but I was a little bit sad that it didn't do super well. I think it could have done fine.
Yeah. It's almost just like Netflix doesn't care about, I mean, the majority of like Amazon and Hulu and stuff, I mean, they put movies out in the theater because they're trying to win Oscars, and it doesn't seem like Netflix cares about that.
Yeah.
They just want you to pay your $9.99 or $11.99 a month, whatever it is. And so I don't know. That was kind of a head scratcher. But anyways, it's made a lot of top lists I've seen so far. Upgrade, which we talked about, it's fine. I wasn't blown away. The Endless, again, not particularly horror, but it's kind of lumped into it. The first Purge came out this summer. It was a big hit. The Nun wasn't that great, but it was a hit. Slender Man was surprisingly a hit. The Meg, I didn't watch that, but it was everybody.
It was boring.
I heard mixed stuff. Yeah, I heard it's for just a dumb action.
It was
movie,
a
it's not
shark
bad.
action movie.
Yeah. So.
Like that's really all I could ever say about it.
Yeah. KB's favorite movie, Mandy. Summer of '84. Night of Something Strange is on Shudder. Digging Up the Marrow is on Shudder. Dead Wax is on Shudder. Satan's Slaves is on Shudder. And then we talked about Cloverfield.
Like the title sounds really stupid. It sounds like it would be like a weird, like pseudo horror porno from the 70s, but it's actually really good. Satan's Slaves is awesome. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's
So look past the stupid title, give it a shot. It's really interesting.
Awesome.
it's gotten good reviews.
I liked it a lot.
And I know there's others. I know we talked about Terrifier, and we already mentioned Cloverfield. And
I just want to throw this out there. Did anybody see Puka?
not yet. It's like going viral and stuff, but I don't.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. I'm gonna go ahead and say.
Was it on Hulu or Shudder?
Oh wait,
It's
it
on
was
Hulu.
It was Hulu. Yes, yes.
I've got it on my list to watch, but
It was like it wasn't what I was in the mood for because I was in the mood for a Christmas movie and it seemed Christmassy, but it was like a Black Mirror episode that was like an hour and a half long, basically.
Oh.
So no happy ending or anything. So if you watch it, just if you're super bored, but it wasn't my fave. That's okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It happens.
Yes.
So I mean, I think that's. I don't know. Those are the high points, right?
Yeah. Could I pop in with like 3 books right now?
Yes,
real quick?
please. Yes.
Okay. So everyone assumes that whatever Stephen King puts out each year is going to be the best thing of the year, but it's not all the time. So here are my top 3. We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix, who is my favorite person in the world currently. He's written Horror Store and My Best Friend's Exorcism and Paperbacks from Hell. And he writes horror with a really good wit. He's just fun, like a fun book that still happens to be a little scary or have horror themes. And this book is about a woman named Chris, and she's probably in her 40s, I think late 30s. And she was in a band when she was a teenager with some guys. And one of the guys has become really successful, like the biggest like rock act in the world. And everyone else has kind of done okay in life, but she's really struggled. And she finds out some information about the band and about the guy who became really successful. And I mean, the book is called We Sold Our Souls. So, that kind of has an implication of what happened when they were having some disagreements as a band. It's very good. The Hunger is by Alma Katsu, and it is a reimagining of the Donner Party story. And so they start off, on the trek, and obviously she's done a crap load of research on this story, but it's already a horrifying story anyway, but she adds in kind of a supernatural monster element that's not really very obvious, but is a very creeping sensation as you're reading the book that not only are things going wrong because they're literally starving and they're making all of the wrong choices, but also something is following them on their wagon train and kind of watching them fall apart. And it's really creepy. So if you like kind of historical fiction with a little twist, it's perfect. And then a book called Baby Teeth by Zoji Stage. Baby Teeth is kind of a take on the Bad Seed story, where there's a kind of an evil kid, a kid that's inherently bad. And it's told from a point of view of a mother and her daughter, and the daughter refuses to speak. She is very intelligent, but she hates her mother so much that she like refuses to talk. And you read the point of view of the mother trying to figure out what's going on with her daughter. What has she done wrong? And then the daughter who's plotting all of this stuff because she's convinced that her mother hates her, and it might be correct. And also the daughter's a little touch of evil, which is always fun to have an evil child in a story. So those are my 3 favorite books. I'm sure Stephen King's books are fine, but those 3 are my favorite horror ones of the year.
Yeah, I literally just downloaded all the samples to that. So
Yay! Perfect.
So excited.
I think everybody is just born with an innate love of Grady Hendrix, and they just don't know it yet. So I think that everybody would love it if they gave it a shot. So We Sold Our Souls is really a lot of fun. So check that one out for sure. But they're all really good in different ways.
Yeah, just from the cover alone, I'm like, that looks like awesome.
His covers are brilliant. He has a cover for My Best Friend's Exorcism, and it's done like an old VHS case cover from the 80s. It's beautiful. Awesome. It's so great. His covers are fabulous.
Yeah, we might need to start like a Music City Horror book club.
Oh my gosh.
I said that to Kayla in the summer, and she said, nay.
Well, now that I have, moved in our like in a pit of despair and job searching and trying to get my house together, it might be a little bit more plausible.
Well, and I mean, and my pitch wasn't even like a book club, like literally a book club. I was just saying, call the show that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But
kind of like Oprah's book club or Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, just like, this is what you guys should read.
Yes.
Deal with it.
and then
book club.
and then occasionally you could do hey, this show is the review of this badass book.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it.
I'm not interested in it anymore just because. But you could do it, and I'll just produce it for you. How about that?
Yeah. Okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom. Done.
Cool. So that's 2018 in a nutshell. We talked to some cool cats, and I don't know. It was a good year.
It was good.
It's a good year for horror, anyway.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I felt like we've gotten a lot of really good stuff over the past couple of years. So
Yeah.
we have a lot to be thankful for. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
Lots to talk about.
I think the January show is going to be the first one's going to be a big one, just because we'll kind of do our sneak peek for 2019, and then Kayla, I think, suggested we're going to do our horror resolutions for 2019.
Yes.
I love that idea.
I think it's going to be a blast, y'all. I've got a few good ones that I'm going to try to tackle this year, but that's for next year.
Is one of them
Which is a
starting
few days away.
the Music City Horror Book Club?
It might be. It might
That's
be.
a really good idea. I wonder where you got that idea from.
I know. It's just amazing how I come up with these brilliant ideas. It's crazy.
So I think
Heard that.
Cool. So I guess we're gonna do our socials then.
Socials. We're at Music City Horror everywhere. Instagram. Definitely follow us there. We're the most fun on Instagram. Facebook sometimes. Twitter. Indie Popcorn. check us out everywhere. And we're now on Spotify as of last month, I think. So that's really awesome. So if you prefer Spotify, check us out on there too, because we are now everywhere. And you can find us
everywhere.
Everywhere. We're always watching you.
Yeah, I wanted to just say thanks to everyone because I don't remember if we made a little thing about it or not, but we just crossed like 15,000 followers on Instagram. Surprisingly, a big chunk of our audience is actually from Los Angeles, which is interesting.
Oh. Hello, peeps.
Yeah, hello, West
What's
Coast.
up?
I'm sure they love our accents.
Yeah, of course. The second largest, of course, Nashville. But we're almost to 1,000 followers on Twitter, which we're not very active on that, admittedly, but it's there. And then we've actually lost a couple followers on Facebook because I think we're posting mainly on Instagram and kind of neglecting Facebook. So we actually dipped below 12K on Facebook, but close enough to round up. So.
Oh, well.
Couple things. We do have a Patreon page. We don't really push it or anything. It's just kind of I almost call it a tip jar. I mean, if you want to go on there and just do a one-time donation, just say, hey, I like your stuff, that's awesome. You know, I have people that do the monthly recurring thing, and they just do $1, and it just, we'll find something to do with it. You know what I mean? New merch, new stickers, whatever. So people do ask us periodically, how they can get involved.
Yes,
Also,
jeez.
If we post something on Facebook, if you want to repost that just broadens the audience. And then also 5-star reviews for our friends. So if you wanted to hop
Woohoo!
on iTunes and drop one of those, that'd be cool too. And so I have some shout outs. Do any of y'all have any?
Me too. Yes.
Cool. You go first.
Oh, thank you. I just want to shout out the Horror Virgin, our friends.
Yay!
Jen and Todd, because they're so awesome. And I just recorded an episode with them that's going to drop on New Year's Eve. So
fun.
give them a follow at the Horror Virgin on Instagram, Facebook, etc. They are so much fun and just great peeps. So thank you guys for having me on the episode, and everybody follow them so you can check it out. It's actually, we're talking about 30 Days of Night, which was fun.
That's one of my favorites. That's like one of my underrated favorites. I actually really, really enjoy that movie.
That one is underrated for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun one to watch, so it'll be fun for y'all to listen. That's my shout out.
Cool. We'll put something up when that episode's live too. So, ours, for mine, I should say, we've had a couple people message us and yada yada yada. Northwest Corner is a podcast based in the Northwest Corner. Hence the name. And they, I think they mainly focus on like independent actors or people, not huge actors, just kind of independent people, but they do interview different people in the entertainment industry, and I think they have interviewed some horror people previously. So I told them I'd give them a shout out. Also, the name of the my autocorrect changed it. It's not sexy. It's Hexy. It's Two Hexy Mamas. They are actually based here in Tennessee, and they kind of do more of the creepy, scary stuff. But they're based in Clarksville, I believe, and which I'll be there next weekend for the NWA show. Da-da-da. Anyways,
Nice.
another wrestling plug. And but they actually messaged us. They said our website wasn't loading properly. I was like, oh, okay. And I checked it, and it did load properly. So I don't know if it was just their browser or whatever. So anyways, so we talked a little bit after that. So those are cool girls, excuse me. So I think if you just type in the word 2, and then Hexy, Hexy, and then Mamas. It'll pull up their page. Complete Thoughts is another podcast. Now this one I don't think has anything to do with horror or anything like that. He's based in Philadelphia. His name is Nolan, I believe. If it's not, I apologize. I'm not going to look it up on my phone because it's way over there. But I think that's his name. And he interviews people, but it's a pretty wide range of guests. So, but he's just getting started, so tell him to give him a plug. And then I don't know if we've mentioned this one or not, but it's a Skull Drainers, and I think I'll have to look this one up. I don't know. I like their. Let's see, Johnny Carruthers and Ant Castle, and anyways, their little like promos that they do is basically like, it reminds me of the Twilight Zone because it's like the all black background, and then there's like an old tube TV, and then like their little video is playing on the TV, and like I don't know how they do it, like the special effects to make that work, but it looks awesome. And every time they release a new episode, they put that up for promotion for the new episode, and it's awesome. I just like it. So anyways, they're on their Instagram, Skull Drainers, and I think they're on like episode 10 or 11. So yeah, so we'll I'll try to remember to screenshot their Instagram profiles when we upload the episode and all that good stuff. So yeah, I think that's it, unless anybody has anything to add.
I feel like we touched on everything. I did a shout out earlier in the show.
It's true.
Yeah. I think that I just want to shout out the listeners. Thank you for an awesome year. Thanks to people who let us interview them.
Yes.
It was really awesome. It's been a good year for us, and we've had a lot of fun. And yeah, just thanks to everybody. It's been a good one.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. I love talking to you guys and anybody that listens. So
Yeah,
it's an honor.
hoping
Absolutely.
hoping we can get maybe some little announcements here in January. Everybody kind of shuts down for the holiday season, so we'll have to pick back up at the first of the year. But hopefully we'll have some news and stuff coming at the first of the year. That's kind of cool. So,
Fun news. Yep.
so let's see. So we're doing the new stuff next time. We did Lena's fun facts. We mentioned wrestling. We talked about the show. I think that's it, guys.
I know.
That's 2018 in a nutshell.
Happy New Year, you guys.
Yeah, happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year. And we'll see you next year.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get one in before KB goes to Royal Rumble. So,
Ooh.
well, all right. Well, that's the end of episode 26. So we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.